A very good evening and welcome to Primetime News on TV1. We are coming to you live and direct from our Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. For the Newsfirst, where the people come first, I'm Martin Satyanesa.
And I'm Theruni Karunaratna. Here are tonight's top stories. "18 injured in Alla bus accident remain hospitalized. 2 admitted to ICU. Families of 15 Alla bus accident victims to receive 1 million rupees each. Bodies handed over to relatives. Individuals misusing public tax funds for personal gain cannot be ignored, says Minister Nalinda Jayatissa.
කවරෝ රාජ්‍ය නායකයෙක් රුපියල් ලක්ෂ 150 160 තමන්ගේ පෞද්ගලික දෙයක් සඳහා වියදම් කරා නම් ඒක යාට පොඩි වුණාට රටට පොඩි නෑ.
Indian national arrested at Katunaika with over 10 kilograms of kush. UK Deputy Prime Minister resigns after admitting to tax evasion.
On to those stories in detail. The bodies of the victims of the tragic bus accident that occurred on the Alla-Vallabhai road near the 23rd kilometer post in Mahawangua, Ravadalla, are currently being handed over to their grieving families. Dr. Palith Rajapaksa, Director of the Emergency Treatment Unit at Badulla General Hospital, stated that post-mortem examinations are being carried out on the deceased.
He also confirmed that 2 individuals who sustained serious injuries in this accident are receiving treatment in the hospital's intensive care unit. A total of 15 people lost their lives in the accident, including a 13-year-old child. Among the victims, there were 8 women and 6 men.
On the 4th of September 2025, Sri Lanka experienced a tragic event. Now this is the Mahawangua area on the Alla-Vallabhai road, and this is where the bus veered off the road, and this is where the bus landed. Last night at approximately 9:15 p.m, a tragic bus accident that occurred in this area claimed the lives of 15 in total. By now, the bodies of the deceased are being handed over to their grieving families. Now, this accident occurred in a less populated area on this Alla-Vallabhai road. The bus had veered off the road on a bend and had fallen about 500 feet into this deep precipice. A massive rescue operation had to be launched immediately to save the victims. The injured were hospitalized, and by now we know that 2 have been admitted to the intensive care unit of the Badulla General Hospital. Meanwhile, the President's Fund has decided to grant compensation of 1 million rupees each to the families of those who lost their lives in this tragic bus accident. Now, the question that is being asked by many is how exactly did this accident occur? Here's what we know.
A group of employees from the Tangol Urban Council departed on a trip at about 3 a.m. yesterday. The group had travelled from Tangol to Nuwara Eliya and spent the afternoon visiting several locations in the area. They had travelled on a privately hired bus for this trip, which also included their family members, with about 32 people in total. This was organised as a one-day trip, and the group had later set off in the evening to return to Tangol. Their return journey was along the Alla-Vallabhai road from Nuwara Eliya to Bandaravilla. However, at around 9:15 p.m. yesterday, the bus met with an unfortunate accident near the 23rd kilometer post close to the Ravana Alla waterfall. The bus plunged nearly 600 feet down a precipice after colliding with an oncoming Range Rover and crashing through the protective railing. Rescue operations were launched immediately, with the army, police and disaster management units making an immense effort to save those trapped under the wreckage. Residents from nearby villages and bystanders also rushed to assist the rescue efforts without hesitation. Over 200 army personnel, including the Commando Regiment, Vijay Bahu Regiment and Gamunu Heva Brigade, were deployed to the site last night. Staff from hospitals in Badulla and Diyathalawa also arrived swiftly at the scene.
මොකද කියලා එහෙම දන්නේ නැහැ. අර කාර් එකේ ඉන්න එයා කිව්වා බස් එකක් ගියේ අපේ මේ වාහනේ පස්සගෙන පහළට ගියා කියලා. ඊට පස්සේ තමයි රාමේකේ කැබ් එකක් කියලා ටග්ගාලා ලනුවක් දාලා බැස්සේ බලන්න.
Through the concerted efforts of multiple parties, the injured were rescued from the precipice and swiftly transported to the main road.
एक्सीडेंट වෙච්ච ගමන් අපිට ආරංචි ආව පල්ලේ හිටපු කට්ටිය 100ක් තිබ්බේ නැහැ. ඊට පස්සේ අපේ පල්ලේ කට්ටිය තමයි හොටෙල් වල කට්ටිය විතර තමයි ගොඩ බේරගත්තේ.
Ambulances were promptly deployed to transfer the injured to hospitals.
මම කොළඹිදලා හයිවේ බස් එකේ යනකොට බදුල්ලට හරි අපි බස් එකට එන්න විනාඩි කිහිපයක් තියලා බස් එකට ආපු වේගෙත් එක්කම පාරදී පිට වාහනයකුත් පිළා මේක ප්‍රපාතර බැලුණා බස් එකේ හිටපු අය ලොකුවට දෝංකාර දුන්නා කෑ ගහලා
Survivors later revealed that the driver had admitted the brakes were not functioning.
लारी वांगुआ गाड़ी की ब्रेक नहीं है मां बोना टिकट गट्टे कथा करते ड्राइवर की इधर से कौन दोस्त तीना होना इधर से आहापाल गट्टे सीटिया इधर यहाँ पे सीट के किने सीटिया ये तीना होना बोल के आने पे इधर देवनी वांग बेटा कि नहीं तेरा ब्रेक नहीं है ये एक बार ना काम लगा सर वाहन कावे की वजह से मैं पार्लियामेंट की
The bus conductor also explained how the accident occurred.
පල්ලෙහාට ටිකක් දුර ආවා එනකොට මම ටිපර් එකක් වුණා ඒක ඕවර්ටේක් කරගෙන පැත්තකින් ගියා යනකොට අනිත් පැත්තෙන් තව කාර් එකක් ආවා ඒකටත් අයින් කරනකොට තමයි මේ එහෙම මම වාඩිනාත් එක්කම වදින සද්ද විතරයි ඇහුනේ මිනිහා මොකද දන්නේ ඊට පස්සේ විසි වෙලා යනවා දැම්මා ඊළ එහෙම වැටලා ඉන්නේ හිටියා ටිකකින් ආයේ කෑ ගන්න සද්දෙට තමයි ආයේ හැරුණේ ඒක එහෙම මතක නැහැ.
Two individuals who assisted in rescuing passengers also sustained injuries and were admitted to the hospital.
නිවාඩු එළින්දියේ ඊට පස්සේ හදිසියෙ කෝල් එකක් ආවා බස් එකක් අනතුරකට ලක් වෙලා කියලා. ඊට පස්සේ මමයි තව යාළුවෝ දෙන්නෙකුයි ආව එතන පාර හොයාගෙන තමයි බහින්න වෙලා තිබ්බේ. අමාරුයි තරණය කරන පහළට බහින්න අමාරුයි. අතර වටේ තමයි කට්ටිය විසිරලා තිබ්බේ. පළවෙනි එක්කෙනා බස් එකදී උඩින් ගලක් ඇවිල්ලා මගේ ඇහි වැදුනා.
A medical team from the Badulla Teaching Hospital, led by Dr. Palitha Rajapaksha, also rushed to the location.
අපි එතෙන් යනකොට ඇත්තටම හිතා ගන්න බැරුණා මොකක්ද දැන් කරන්න කියලා හිතාල් බැරුණා මේ අපි දැක්කේ අඩියක් පේන්නේ නැති යන්න පාරක්වත් කිසිම දෙයක් අගාධයක් තමයි දැක්කේ නමුත් අඹෝල ඉල්ලා ප්‍රමාණ බැස්සා බහැලා ගිහිල්ලා ඉතින් මේ 7 දෙනෙක් හිටියා තුවාල අරගෙන ඒ හැම දෙනාටම සේලයින් දීලා ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ මේ තිබිච්ච ලේ වහන තිබිච්ච ඒවා අවක්තලා සේරම කළා උළු එව්වා අපි අන්තිම රෝගියෙක් ගෙනාවට පස්සේ තමයි අපි ආවේ එතෙන්දී හමුදාව ක්‍රියාත්මක වෙච්ච ආකාරය පොලිසිය ඒ වගේම ත්‍රිවිධ හමුදාව පොලිසිය ඒ වගේ විශේෂයෙන් ප්‍රදේශවාසී තරුණයෝගේ කැපවීම අපි සේරම අගය කරන්න ඕනේ වෛද්‍යෝසිය ගාලක් ඒ වගේම අනිකුත් කාර්ය මණ්ඩලයක් ඉතින් ගෙන්න ගත්තා.
The injured remain under close medical supervision at hospitals. This is what the site of the tragic accident looked like by this morning. The bus had been completely destroyed.
Behind me is a bus which lost control from the Alla road and which fell into this place right now. And as you can see, this is a destruction, and you can see a lot of parts of the different parts of the bus all around the area, from tires to seats to the chassis to the speakers as well. So it's 4 p.m. as we are reporting here, and still they have not taken the bus from this location. So this is our latest comment to you, reporting to you. I am Budvin Amaradivakara for Newsfirst.
Army teams have been deployed to recover the overturned bus and to locate the belongings and other items of the accident victims.
පාරේ යන වාහන මේ බස් විශේෂයෙන් එකින් දෙකට ඕවර්ටේක් කරලා තරඟකාරී බවක් පෙන්වමින් තමයි ගමන් කරන්නේ. අනිත් එක තමයි මෙතන රියානතුරු මේ වංගු සහිත මාර්ගයේ බහුලව සිද්ධ වෙන තැනක්. වැඳලා ඉල්ලන ස්ථානය පරීක්ෂා කරලා නිවැරදිව මේකට මාර්ග සලකුණු යොදලා ඒ වගේම මේවා මේ ગેප් එකක් යොදලා එහෙම නැත්නම් බවුන්ඩරිස් දාලා මොනව හරි කරලා මේ ස්ථාන ආරක්ෂා කරන්න කියලා.
Doctors also arrived at the site this morning.
ගෙවල් වල හිටපු වෛද්‍යවරුන් පවා මේ අනතුර සැලවීමෙන් පසු රෝගීන්ට අවශ්‍ය ප්‍රතිකාර ලබා දීමට රෝහලට පැමිණියා විශේෂඥ වෛද්‍යවරුන් සහ වෛද්‍යවරුන් එමගින් අතරම රෝගීන් විශාල ප්‍රමාණයක ජීවිත බේරා ගැනීමට ලැබුණා විශේෂයෙන්ම කියන්න ඕනේ ප්‍රදේශවාසීන්ගේ ඊළඟට යුද හමුදාවේ පොලිසියේ කැපවීම මත අප වෛද්‍යවරුන්ටත් අදාළ බස් රථයේ පෙරණු ස්ථානයටම යන්න ලැබුණා. මේ ස්ථානයේදීම මූලික ප්‍රතිමාදාර ලබා ගැනීම පටන් ගත්ත හින්දා ජීවිත විශාල සංඛ්‍යාවක් බේරා ගන්න හැකියාව ලැබුණා.
Officials from the Badula Disaster Management Center also inspected the location today.
බදුල්ල දිස්ත්‍රික්කයේ තියෙන මේ මාර්ග අතුරින් ඇල්ල වැල්ලවාය මාර්ගයේ ස්වභාවයෙන්ම අවදානම් සහිත මාර්ගයක් විදිහට හඳුනාගෙන තියෙනවා. මේ අත්දැකීමත් එක්ක ඉස්සරහට මේ සඳහා විශේෂ වැඩපිළිවෙලක් අදාළ තාක්ෂණික ආයතන එක්ක සාකච්ඡා කරලා ඉවරලා ආණ්ඩුකාරතුමා ඒ සඳහා නායකත්වය අරගෙන වැඩපිළිවෙලක් සකස් කිරීමට නියමිතයි.
Among the 15 victims of the Alla bus accident, 8 were women and 6 were men. One child was also among the deceased. Deputy Minister Ruwan Ranasinghe said that they are employees of the Tangol Municipal Council and their relatives. 9 bodies have been placed in the Diathalava Base Hospital and 6 have been placed in the Badulla Teaching Hospital. The Secretary of the Tangol Municipal Council, TWK Rupasena, is also among those deceased. He was a 52-year-old resident of Ambalantutta. Thechan, a grade 9 student at the Ruhunu Vijayaba College, and his mother also lost their lives in the tragic accident. The body of Chiran Dimankar, the 27-year-old bus driver who died in the accident, has been placed at the Diathalava Base Hospital. He was a resident of Tangol. Due to the bus accident, the following residents of Tangol and surrounding areas also lost their lives. 54-year-old Nihal Ranjit Veerasinghe, 32-year-old Dinushika Lakmini, 45-year-old Namal Ruantha, 39-year-old Nilusha Srimali, 42-year-old Madhusha Anuradhini, 42-year-old Shanika Anuradha, and 34-year-old Jayani Jivantika.
They said they were going on a trip. We never really liked the idea. There was a meeting at my sister's Montessori, and since my father had to attend it, we decided to send my mother on the trip instead. Later, my uncle told us that a video of an accident was going viral on Facebook. He immediately went to the Tangol Municipal Council to confirm what had happened and then rushed to check on my mother. Now she has left us. I have two sisters. This is the youngest.
It did not take long to take out the injured passengers who were trapped in the bus, potentially facing death, but still hopeful for life. Local residents, along with brave members of the Army, Air Force, Police and disaster management units, put down their lives at risk to pull the victims from the mangled bus. Some were moved to join the rescue mission after seeing the desperate calls for help on social media. Within a matter of hours, essential equipment such as lights and ropes arrived, enabling the teams to work through the night. Simultaneously, doctors, nurses and hospital staff worked tirelessly, pushing past the limits of their professional duties to care for the wounded. In this critical moment, a profound truth was revealed. The human spirit is an unwavering force. Newsfirst salutes every individual who rose to the occasion and put humanity first.
Newsfirst, with the people.
Newsfirst, main sponsor.
A trusted place for your fixed deposits. Valuable FD, the symbol of stability. A trusted place for your fixed deposits. Valuable FD, 10.25% for 15 months, 11% for 24 months. Valuable FD, the symbol of stability.
Today marks the observance of Miladun Nabi, the festival commemorating the birth of Prophet Muhammad, the leader of the Islamic faith. According to the Islamic lunar calendar, he was born in the third month, Rabiul Awwal, in the year 570 AD in the city of Mecca, present-day Saudi Arabia.
Prophet Muhammad, the leader of the Islamic faith who conveyed the message of love and peace to all human beings, is considered the last messenger of Allah. He introduced to the world a complete way of life through Islam, promoting the development, liberation, peace, happiness and contentment of humanity. Muslims around the world today commemorate the birth of the Prophet, dedicating themselves to building a noble human life filled with humanity and observing religious rituals. Meanwhile, President Anura Kumara Dissanayake, issuing a message on the occasion of Miladun Nabi, stated that the ideals of the Prophet provide an unending light as we strive to overcome the challenges we face today and work toward building a lawful, ethical and equitable nation. The President also invited everyone to make this year's Miladun Nabi more meaningful by bringing the true life example of Prophet Muhammad closer to their own lives. A national Miladun Nabi festival was held this afternoon in Ambalanthota under the patronage of President Anura Kumara Dissanayake.
Miladun Nabi Samaru Muddare me avasthawe garu Janadipatituman Anura Kumara Dissanayake metumante me avasthawe.
The birth of Prophet Muhammad, or more commonly known as Miladun Nabi, is marked across the world today.
Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was born in 571 AD in Mecca, Saudi Arabia. Born to Abdullah bin al-Muttalib and Amina bin Wahab, he is the final messenger of Islam. An orphan from a young age, Muhammad was known for his integrity, earning the titles Al-Amin, the trustworthy, and As-Sadiq, the truthful. At the age of 40, he received his first divine revelation in the cave of Hira. This event marked the beginning of his mission and the revelations he received over the next 23 years that would form the basis of the Quran, the holy book of Islam. Miladun Nabi is a sacred day that holds deep spiritual meaning for Muslims worldwide. It is an opportunity to reflect upon the Prophet's life, his message of kindness, patience and humility, and to follow his example in daily living. Special prayers, recitations and charitable acts mark the occasion, reminding us of the importance of spreading goodness and compassion.
Now, a stock of chemicals suspected to be imported for the production of crystal methamphetamine or ice was discovered buried in a garden in Talaba, Middenia today. The chemicals were found on a land of Sampath Manamperi, a former local councillor of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna.
These substances were discovered during the interrogation of Bako Saman, who was brought back to the country after hiding in Indonesia. The chemical stock was found during a raid conducted by Linton Silva, Chief Inspector of Police of the Western North Crime Division. National Dangerous Drugs Control Board conducted further investigations today into the matter. It was observed that 2 containers suspected to have been used to import the chemical stock into the country were found on the land. Meanwhile, another similar chemical was discovered in a nearby cemetery in a land that belongs to Sampath Manamperi, a former local councillor of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna.
A suspect from India in possession with over 10 kilograms of kush valued at 105 billion rupees was arrested at the Bandaranaike International Airport today.
An Indian national in possession of 10 kilograms and 750 grams of kush was arrested by Sri Lanka Customs at around 7 a.m. at the Bandaranaike International Airport today. The suspect, a 43-year-old salesman at a footwear shop in New Delhi, purchased the drugs in Bangkok, Thailand. He then brought them to Katunayaka via New Delhi on Air India flight AI-277. According to the customs, the drugs were discovered packed in 19 separate packs using the new scanning machine installed at the airport.
National organizer of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna Namal Rajapaksa says that the arrests made by the government is a smokescreen to their incompetence.
We are observing the government's behavior. If the law is being used to hunt people down, if it's being used to cover up the government's incompetence, if some officials who support the government are being appointed to elevated positions, and if the police and CID are at a point where they create false evidence, justice will not be served. This will only lead to suppression. Today we see that the government is clearly oppressing public servants, the armed forces, the police and war heroes and commanders who led the fight against terrorism, including the politicians and citizens who speak against them. The people are watching this. It is clear that the government is in a state of suppression.
Dayasiri Jayasekara and Premnath Dolawatha, former politicians representing 2 opposing political factions, jointly held a press conference today. Attorney Premnath Dolawatha, who joined the press conference, contested the last election under the leadership of Ranil Wickremesinghe from the newly formed New Democratic Front, but was not voted into the parliament. Dayasiri Jayasekara currently serves as a member of parliament representing the Samaga Jana Balawegaya.
Premnath Dolawatha නැවත පොදුජන පෙරමුණේ වාඩි වෙන්නේ නැද්ද?
නෑ එහෙම ප්‍රශ්නයක් නෑ බාධාවක් නෑ. එහෙම වාඩි වෙන්නේ නැහැ කියලා දරුණු තීන්දුව ගන්නෙත් නෑ. සහ වාඩි වෙන්නේ යන්නෙත් නෑ. මොකද හේතුව මම හිතනවා මගේ භූමිකාව ඊට එහාට ගිය පුළුල් භූමිකාවක්.
ඒ කියන්නේ ඔබතුමාලා කැමති නැද්ද රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ මහත්මයා නැවත පාර්ලිමේන්තුවට ආවොත්?
නෑ ඒක එතුමා නෝනන් ඉතාම හොඳයි. මොකද හේතුව එතුමා හොඳ පරණත දේශපාලඥයෙක් විපක්ෂ නායකයෙක් අවුරුදු ගාණක් හිටපු කෙනෙක් අග්‍රාමාත්‍යවතුරු 4 වතාවක් දරපු කෙනෙක් මම දන්නේ නැහැ උන්ගේ ඒ පක්ෂය ඇතුලේ තිබෙන තත්ත්වය කොහොමද කියන එක ගැන මම දන්නේ නැහැ.
මහින්ද වික්‍රමසිංහ මහත්මයා වගේ කෙනෙකුත් පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ හිටියොත් මේ රට වැටෙන එක පොඩ්ඩක් අපිට බලක ගන්න පුළුවන්. පුද්ගලික මම විශ්වාසයි.
වික්‍රමසිංහ මහත්මයාගේ ඔබතුමාලා ඉල්ලීමක් කරාද?
නෑ එතුමාට අපි කියලා තියෙනවා. එතුමාට අපි මුලින් ඉඳලාම කිව්වා. ඒක මේ වෙලාවේදී අපි පක්ෂය ඇතුළේ සිලින්ඩරය තුල අපි ඉල්ලීමක් කරා. එතුමාට නැවත පාර්ලිමේන්තුවට යා යුතුයි කියලා.
සිලින්ඩරේ මන්ත්‍රී ධූර දෙකේ ඉන්න දෙන්න කැමති වෙයිද මේ?
ඒගොල්ලෝ වඩා සමීප රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ මහත්මයාට තමයි. ඒ කට්ටිය නියෝජනය කරන්නේ.
ඒ වගේම එක්සත් ජාතික පාක්ෂිකයෝගේ පැත්තෙන් කියනවා මේ රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ මහත්මයා සරිත් ප්‍රේමදාස මහත්මයා එකතු වෙලා නැවත සිරිකොත අලියා බලයට ගේන්න ඕන කියන වගේ කතාවක්.
ඒක මම දැක්ක නාමල් රාජපක්ෂ මහත්තයත් කියලා තියෙනවා වගේ. මේ වෙලාවේ මම හිතන්නේ අපි සියලු දෙනාම මම හිතන්නේ මේ විපක්ෂයේ කොහින් හරි එකතු වෙන එක හොඳයි. මොකද මේ වෙලාවේ මේ ආපහු අපි නැවත කියනවා. දේශපාලනේ නෙමෙයි. ලොකු ප්‍රශ්නයක් රටේ තියෙනවා.
At a media briefing today, representatives of the Samaga Jana Balawegaya addressed the recent series of arrests.
තවම එහෙම දැනුම් දීමක් නම් කරලා නැහැ. මාධ්‍යයේ වාර්තා වෙලා තිබෙනවා. ඉතින් මාධ්‍යයට එහෙම වාර්තා වෙන්නේ කොහොමද කියන එක නම් මම දන්නේ නැහැ. මොකද වෙන්නේ ඔබත් අත්අඩංගුවට ගනීද? අපිට පේන තිබෙනවා ආණ්ඩුව අද විවස්ථාපිත ඒකාධිපති ගමනකට අද ගමන් කරනවා. විරුද්ධ පක්ෂය දඩයම් කරන්න අද ගමන් කරනවා. විරුද්ධ පක්ෂයේ ඉන්න නායකයන්ව හිරේ දාලා මේ රටේ ජනතාවගේ ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාදය යටපත් කරගෙන යන්න පුළුවන්ද කියලා උත්සාහයක අද ආණ්ඩුව නියැලී ඉන්නවා. ඉතින් ඒකට මුහුණ දෙන්න මේකට එරෙහිව සියලු ජනතාව ඒකරාශී කරමින් යන පොල්පෝට් ක්‍රමයට යන මේ ආණ්ඩුව තියෙන ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍ර විරෝධය හා ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රයට එරෙහිව ගන්නා වූ ක්‍රියාමාර්ගවලට විරුද්ධව එකට වැඩ කරන්න ඕනේ කියන අදහස අප තුල තියෙනවා.
Deputy Minister of Agriculture and Livestock Namal Karunaratne says that while the opposition in other countries raises its voice against corruption, the current opposition in this country is demanding that the law should not be implemented against the corrupt.
These days, Sajid Premadasa has been claiming that the economy will collapse by 2028. But if we look at the facts, many institutions have already exceeded their revenue targets. During Sajid's tenure, the country was declared bankrupt internationally. Today, that same international body has declared that the country is free from bankruptcy. Income has increased, dollar generation has grown, and the tourism industry is picking up. So on what basis can it be claimed that the economy will collapse? Such statements should be based on facts. The next question is, why does the opposition leader keep repeating that the economy will collapse? It is because he wants it to fail. If the economy actually improves, he would not welcome it. He insists that by 2028 the economy must collapse. But what if it doesn't and instead recovers? He would be proven wrong. That is not the stance an opposition leader or any responsible leader should take. In the past, when opposition leaders made statements like this, it would usually affect the stock market and other economic functions, causing some disturbance. But now, when such statements are made, the stock market goes up, economic structures strengthen, and no one is fazed. This shows how weakened the opposition has become. What is this opposition saying now? Initially, they asked whether thieves would be caught, but now, as action is being taken, they are whining. They question why older cases, some 10 or 15 years old, are being pursued, and why even minor offenders are being brought in. If they have stolen or destroyed the country's property, the passage of 10, 15 or 20 years should not matter. Previous governments ignored this. Action now must be taken. Yet the opposition continues to complain even as investigations target underworld activities and thefts from the past. The more these cases come up, the more hysterical their stories become.
Minister Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa says that no one can misuse taxpayers' money.
None of us have the right to waste the people's hard-earned tax money. If a state leader spent 15, 16 or even 16.6 million rupees on personal matters, it may seem small to them, but for the country, it is far from insignificant. We cannot ignore that. Every leader has a responsibility. When the law acts against such misuse, the government enforcing it carries an even greater duty to act responsibly. We need to remember that. The fact that the law is now being applied to someone who made mistakes in the past shows that members of the current government are also accountable. The law is being enforced because they too can bear that responsibility.
A trusted place for your fixed deposits. Valuable FD 10.25% for 15 months, 11% for 24 months. Valuable FD, the symbol of stability.
Welcome back to the news. Minister of Health and Mass Media, Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa, says that a delegation, including the Minister of Foreign Affairs, will participate in the 60th regular session of the United Nations Human Rights Council. He made the statement following an event held in Trincomalee.
UN සැසිවාරයේ ලබන සතිය ආරම්භ වෙනවා. ඒ සම්බන්ධ ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ විස්තර කවුරු යවන්නේ කවුද කොහොමද කියන තීරණය කරලා
A delegation including our Minister of Foreign Affairs will participate in the session. For the past year, from last September to date, we have taken all measures to protect the country's democracy, protect people's human rights and ensure people's freedom under the leadership of President Anurukumara Dissanayake. We hope the international community will express their appreciation on this. We have actually worked. We have not treated anyone differently. The government is dedicated to protecting the fundamental rights that must be ensured as per the Constitution. However, what the previous governments have done must also be answered. After considering the report of the Commissioner General of Human Rights, we hope to see a reflection of our efforts.
The United Nations Human Rights Council will hold its 60th regular sessions from 8th of September to 8th of October 2025 in Geneva. United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, Volker Turk, will present a report on Sri Lanka on the first day of the session.
Chinese Ambassador Ki Zheng-hong visited the China-Sri Lanka Friendship Kidney Hospital in Polonnaruwa today to review its operations and discuss future development plans.
Chinese ambassador to Sri Lanka, Kee Zen Hong, made a special inspection visit to the China-Sri Lanka Friendship National Nephrology Specialized Hospital in Polonnaru today to inspect the hospital's operations, which was built with the assistance of the Chinese government. The Chinese ambassador took steps to inquire about the health activities of the National Nephrology Specialized Hospital in Polonnaru and how future development activities should be carried out. Many government officials as well as Chinese representatives and health officials were present in attendance.
Before we come to here, we just visited the China-Sri Lanka Friendship National Nephrology Hospital. Yeah, this is a new landmark of China-Sri Lanka Friendship. The Chinese government, the Chinese people, and will continue support our Sri Lanka brothers and sisters to tide over the temporary difficulties. We hope and the strong leadership of His Excellency President AKD, Sri Lanka people is writing new chapters. Will enter into the new years. Everything will be getting better and better. Thank you all.
A special commemorative gift was also presented to the Chinese ambassador in appreciation of the Chinese government's support to Sri Lanka and its contribution to the China-Sri Lanka Friendship Hospital.
A medical incinerator funded by the government of Japan was handed over to the District General Hospital of Trincomalee today.
As a gesture of friendship and cooperation between Japan and Sri Lanka, the government of Japan has donated a medical incinerator to the Trincomalee District General Hospital. The handover ceremony was presided over by Minister of Health and Mass Media Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa and the Japanese ambassador to Sri Lanka, Akio Isamata, as chief guest for the event.
The Japanese government is making its own contribution to assist the country of Sri Lanka in making progress with this tremendous efforts paid for the national reconciliation, because we think these two things, socio-economic development of these areas, these provinces, and national reconciliation processes are deeply connected with each other. And by providing assistance in these two aspects of this development of Sri Lanka, we will be seeing a holistic development of the whole country of Sri Lanka. That is what we are trying to do, together with the people and the government of Sri Lanka. We would like to see in the future not only G2G cooperation, but also cooperation between private sectors of Sri Lanka and Japan, including medical and related industries.
The Civil Aviation Authority of Sri Lanka today issued a clarification regarding the future operations of the Mattala International Airport.
A team of officials, including Sunil Jayaratne, chairman of the Civil Aviation Authority of Sri Lanka, conducted an inspection tour at Mattala International Airport today.
The government is taking steps to bring Mattala Airport into full operation as an international hub. While the airport has been largely inactive in the past, the aim now is to make it fully functional, attract tourists and waive the $60 service tax to encourage more visitors. Plans are also underway to collaborate with aviation authorities from countries like Russia. Currently, 2 international partnerships are active with discussions ongoing for a third. Both international and domestic flights will be prioritized, with interior routes connecting BIA, Jaffna and Mattala, benefiting citizens and creating additional revenue opportunities. The government cannot do this alone. They are planning to manage the airport as a joint venture. Operational activities are overlooked by the airport and aviation services under government supervision, while private companies will be invited to invest. Talks are being held with potential stakeholders to ensure the airport can continue operating successfully and sustainably.
Colombo's Lionel Wendt Theatre was the stage for a rare classical music event this week, as the Embassy of Italy joined hands with the Symphony Orchestra of Sri Lanka to present a world-class performance.
In rehearsals, Italian violinist Maestro Domenico Nordio, hailed as one of Europe's finest, worked closely with the SOSL. preparing Vivaldi's Four Seasons and Vaithali's Bach gems. His presence inspired both the orchestra and young Sri Lankan musicians observing the session.
Very happy to be here in Colombo for a special concert that will be a meeting between three important cultures.
Very excited to be part of this great concert between the Sri Lanka Symphony Orchestra and the Italian Embassy. It's my first time in Sri Lanka, and I just had a wonderful time working with the musicians, meeting the board members, and of course working with Maestro Nordio, our soloist, for the concert.
Performed Four Seasons, and I've been really looking forward to watching that because I've always heard recordings of it, but like to really see what it looks like in real life.
I was very proud of our Sri Lankan Orchestra, Symphony Orchestra, because they gave the wonderful support to the violinist, and I enjoyed the evening very much.
From the strings of the violin to the power and emotions of melodies, tonight we witnessed not just a concert, but a cultural bridge that connects Italy's rich traditional music with Sri Lanka's classical scene. This is a fusion of melodies that transcends beyond the borders. On the 4th of September, Maestro Nordio's breathtaking performance of the Four Seasons captivated the invitation-only audience. Guided by visiting US conductor Dr. Martha Placeres, the SOSL and the Italian soloist created an evening of music that will long be remembered.
A special night was held yesterday to celebrate Sri Lankan tourism veteran Chandra Wickramasinghe's 50 years in Sri Lanka's tourism industry.
A special evening celebrated Sri Lankan tourism veteran Chandra Wickramasinghe's 50-year journey in the industry, while also honouring the partners and collaborations that made his success possible. Chandra Wickramasinghe has been a key figure in Sri Lankan tourism for over 5 decades. As the founder of Connaissance de Ceylon, he helped open the French market in the 1980s and championed eco-cultural tourism and Ayurveda. He served as president of both the Sri Lanka Association of Inbound Tour Operators and the Travel Agents Association of Sri Lanka, contributing to industry marketing and growth. He also developed iconic properties such as Amaya Lake, Malumalu and Alia Resort and Spa. In 2018, he was named a tourism legend at the Sri Lanka Tourism Awards. The evening celebrated his enduring legacy, pioneering contributions and the invaluable partnerships that have fueled 5 decades of impact. Attendees were treated to a night of entertainment, storytelling and heartfelt tributes, making it not just a celebration of one individual's accomplishments, but a collective salute to the power of lasting partnerships in Sri Lanka's tourism success story.
A uniquely Sri Lankan approach to wax sculpture is said to offer visitors the rare opportunity to witness lifelike representations of internationally renowned personalities captured with stunning realism and artistic finesse. The Colombo Wax Museum, showcasing this exceptional artistry, is scheduled to open its doors to the public very soon.
In the 17th century, the enchanting city of Paris became a cradle for modern art. It was here at Marie Tussaud, a visionary sculptor, pioneered a new artistic medium, wax figure creation, offering the world a lifelike glimpse into royalty and nobility. Her legacy gave birth to the globally renowned Madame Tussauds Wax Museum, first established in London and later expanded to cities like New York, Hollywood and Singapore. Today,
That legacy finds a uniquely Sri Lankan expression in the form of the Colombo Wax Museum, which is set to open soon at the Colombo Arcade premises.
Have you ever imagined to be holding hands with Amitabh Bachchan and Brad Pitt at the same time? Well, I did. And now you can too. Right here in the heart of Colombo, Colombo Wax Museum is going to make headlines very soon, where you can come and witness the exact replicas of your favorite stars, be it Hollywood, Bollywood, sports, arts, and etc.
This international standard museum will allow both local and foreign visitors to experience life-sized wax figures of globally and locally celebrated personalities. The museum is the brainchild of Atula Herath, a master sculptor who has studied the art of wax figure creation for years. Drawing inspiration from Madame Tussauds, Herath has already begun crafting 40 iconic figures, ranging from Hollywood and Bollywood stars to Sri Lankan cinema legends, musicians, stage performers, scientists and innovators.
ඇත්තටම අපි දැන් මේ වෙනකොට අපි සැලසුම් කරලා තියෙන චරිත 40ක් කෙසේ හෝ මේකට ඇතුළත් කරන්න. නමුත් මේ වෙනකොටත් නිර්මාණ කටයුතු සිදු වෙමින් පවතිනවා. මොකද මාත් එක්ක කණ්ඩායමක් වැඩ කරනවා.
We've planned to include 40 characters. Tourists can enjoy taking photos with stars they admire, and Sri Lankans will finally have the chance to experience this joy right here at home. I humbly invite everyone to visit, enjoy and celebrate this effort.
ඉතාම ආදරෙන් ගෞරවයෙන් ඉල්ලා සිටිනවා ශ්‍රී ලාංකිකයින්ට ශ්‍රී ලංකාවාසී සියලු දෙනාට මේක ඇවිල්ලා නරඹලා සතුටු වෙලා විනෝද වෙලා යන්න කියලා.
Atula Herath is no stranger to wax artistry in Sri Lanka. He previously introduced the historic Wax Museum at Ahaliyagoda and the Polonnaruwa Leaders Wax Museum, making him a pioneer in the field. Veteran actor Mahindra Pereira, whose wax figure was the first ever sculpted by Herath, expressed his pride.
All the Sri Lankans who are living abroad, when they come down to Sri Lanka, when they come to Sri Lanka, surely they will get pictures with these celebrities here. Not only cinema, but I believe some sportsmen and musicians and singers. There are so many. So somehow it will boost up our dignity.
This wax museum concept that it has been brought to Sri Lanka by this greatly talented artist Atula Herath, a pioneering thing, especially for Sri Lankans who are living abroad and also visitors to Sri Lanka to experience this unique experience where you can almost meet with your people, with idols, your people whom you like or you want to recognize and be with them, take a photograph. All that and more than anything, I think this uniquely displays the talent of this unique artist, Atula Herath.
The museum is also supported by Atula Herath's son, Mahima Herath, an architect with international experience who has contributed to the design and execution of the project.
Do you know what's the most iconic highlight of this Colombo Wax Museum? And that is to be able to click pictures, take selfies and even record yourself with not just Bollywood or Hollywood stars, but also with your favorite celebrities of the Sri Lankan cinema and the Sri Lankan history itself. So Colombo Wax Museum is going to make headlines in October this year. So stay tuned as we are ready to bring to you all the buzz of the hottest trend in Colombo.
Angela Rayner, the Deputy Prime Minister of Britain, resigned today after admitting that she did not pay enough tax on the purchase of a new home.
Angela Rayner, who is considered to be one of the most powerful women in the country and widely tipped to be a future candidate for the top job in politics, resigned as Deputy Prime Minister and Housing Secretary after admitting she did not pay enough tax on the purchase of an apartment in a southern English seaside resort. Rayner resigned as Deputy Prime Minister and Housing Secretary and Deputy Leader of the Labour Party today.
And that's a wrap of Primetime News for tonight.
Thank you for joining us.
Good night.